Hey guys, I'm Matt, a developer from Ohio, and in this video I'll be walking you through the Sublime Line Graphs project. To complete this project, you'll need to be familiar with the differences between figures, subplots, and charts. Let's get started. In this project, we'll use data from the fictional online lime retailer Sublime Limes. We'll use MATPLOTLIB to save one figure with two charts. Before we get into the project, we need to import the Codecademy library that enables our output to be shown in the preview window on the right side of the editor. We'll import Codecademy.lib at the top of our program. That's import Codecademy.lib, short for library. The other thing Codecademy has given us here is some data to work with. It's always a good idea to look over your data before working with it. First, we have months, right here, which is a list of month names. It's safe to assume that we'll use these as axis labels. Second, we have visits per month, which gives us the number of visitors to the Sublime Lime site per month. These will correspond to the month labels above. Lastly, we have our Lime sales data down here. These are separated by month and by Lime type. For example, the first number here shows us that there were 92 key limes purchased in January. Now that we know what we're working with, we'll set up our figure. We'll make it 12 units wide and 8 units tall, as per this task's instructions. These units are in inches by default. So we'll call plt.figure. PLT here is an abbreviation for matplotlib because we've imported it as PLT. And plt.figure, we're going to add the parameter fig size. We're going to set that equal to 12 by 8. Our figure is going to have two charts arranged horizontally. We'll have one row and two columns. We'll create the left chart as ax1 by using the subplot command. So ax1 equals plt.subplot, and we're going to set that to 1, 2, 1. This is the number of rows, the number of columns, and the index of the ax1 that we're talking about. So that's one row, two columns, and this is the first item. We can create our right chart in the same way as our left. We just need to use 2 as the index instead of 1. So I'm just going to copy and paste ax1 here, change this to 2, and we'll also change the index to 2. We can keep the 1 and the 2 the same because that's just describing the size, and that's going to be the same number of rows and columns. In the left subplot, ax1, we're going to plot the visits per month list. We need to write our code for this chart in between the ax1 definition and the ax2 definition because we want this code to apply only to ax1. We'll use the range function to generate an index number for each month. That'll be 12 numbers in total. So between these two, we'll set x values equal to the range of the length of months. So months here has 12 items, so the length will be 12. And range will give us all the numbers between. So we'll get a list with 0 through 11. To plot the page visits, we'll use the plot command with x values as the x-axis and visits per month as the y-axis. So plt.plot x values as the first axis and visits per month as the second. We can add line markers to show each month as a distinct value. We'll add the marker property as a third parameter in the plot command. So here as a third parameter, we can add marker equals, and you can pick whatever you want here. I'm going to pick O, which is going to give us a circular marker. The data is shown in our chart, but it could use more detail. We can label the x and y axes by using the x label and y label commands. So plt.xlabel will give that month, and plt.ylabel will give that visitors. Now you can see that our axes are labeled month at the bottom and visitors on the left. We'll be replacing the numbers on the x-axis with month names, but we need to make sure that there are exactly 12 ticks, one for each month. We can set the number of ticks by using our x values list and the setTicks command. Note that we'll be using setTicks on ax1, not plt. So ax1.setXticks, because we're setting the ticks for only the x-axis, we'll set that to x values. And remember that x values here is our range that is 12 values long. Now that there are 12 ticks, we can replace them with the month names stored in our months variable. We'll use the setXTickLabels command. So again on AX1, set xTickLabels, and we'll set that to months. The left chart is done, so we can move on to the right chart. We'll be writing this code under the AX2 definition so that our commands apply to the correct chart. Remember to keep plt.show as the last line, because any commands used after show won't be reflected on the page. We'll be making another line chart, but this time with 3 lines, one for each line variety above. We'll use the plot command to draw each line. We can use the same x values for this chart because there are still 12 months. So we'll use plt.plot again. We're still using x values because there are 12 months, and we can pass in each one of these above. So the first one will be keylimes, and then we can copy and paste this 2 times, and then just paste in the other 2 variables. You can set the color of each line with the color property. You can set the colors to whatever you like. So we'll add a third argument here, which is going to be color equals, and then you can set that to any color name, such as green. Our lines have different colors now, but it's still hard to tell which line corresponds to which lime. To let the reader know which line represents which sales category, we'll add a legend with the legend command and a list of 3 strings. Each string will be the name shown for one of our lines, so it's important to write them in exactly the same order as these plot commands. So we'll use plt.legend, and we're going to pass in a list, and we're going to pass in strings. So the first is keylimes, because the first thing we plot here is keylimes per month. If you've done yours in a different order, just make sure that you're writing these strings in the right order. So the next for me is Persian limes, and after that, there's blood limes. I'm also going to take this opportunity to go ahead and add some axis labels. So I'm going to add plt.xlabel, which is going to be month, and plt.ylabel, which is going to be the number of limes sold. Just like with our left chart, we want the x-axis to display month names, not numbers. We'll set the xticks to 12, and then set the xTickLabels to the months variable. This is exactly the same as we've done with AX1, so I'm just going to copy this over, but make sure that you change AX1 to AX2. The last thing we should add to our charts are titles. We can pass a string to the title command to set a chart title. Make sure you put your code in the right place. The left chart's title should come between the AX1 definition and the AX2 definition, while the right chart's title should come after the AX2 definition. So we can give our left chart a title with plt.title page visits per month, or you can title the chart differently if you think that there's a better title. And our second here, I'm going to set to lime sales per month. It's really important that you put these in the right place because it's going to set the title for whichever chart has been most recently assigned. So this title goes to AX2, and this title goes to AX1. Now that our figure is complete, we can save it as a PNG file. Make sure to give it a descriptive name. So plt.savefig, and I'll save this as something like Sublime limes line graphs.png. In this project, we used MATPLOTLIB to create 2 charts from a given dataset. Not only did we render the data, but we used effective labels, legends, and formatting to maximize readability and presentation. MATPLOTLIB is a great tool for rendering any kind of data in Python. I'm Matt for Codecademy. Happy coding!